Comedy legend Frank Skinner is back on stage with his first stand-up show in 4 years.
I think a man of my age saying my girlfriend is sort of on a level with a man of my age saying my skateboard.
Live in London this June, at the Edinburgh Festival in August, and touring across the country this autumn.
It's what I would call an Elton John joke. It's a little bit funny.
Book tickets now at frankskinnerlive.com.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane, who are my friends. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. I say they are my friends, but we all know deep down.
He's the loneliest man in the
I admit it!
Honestly thought you were just going to say colleagues then. I was thinking, harsh.
I think we should change that song to he's extremely comfortable with solitude because he's actually quite well adjusted.
Is there a song that has that, though?
I don't know, but there should be, Frank.
I think this is a song for people who generally like a crowd. Come on, get those flowers in your hands. The public PE lessons. The missiles on trucks. Celebrate. Yes. Anyway, so I arrived at the studios today in Golden Square, London, and the first thing I noted was in one of the newspapers there was an interview with Pochettino.
Oh yes, love a bit of Poch.
The manager of Tottenham Hotspur. In many ways, the current custodian of the whole black chicken ethos.
Yes.
And
we should say, Frank, that's what your son Buzz called.
That's what my son described the badge as. Yeah. So, Poch, as he's generally known, revealed in this morning's, I think it was the Mirror, it could have been the Sun. It's a very fine line.
A lot of overlapping content.
A great deal of overlapping content.
I mean, I heart news, but it's difficult to know which news
I
I'm
heart
reading.
news, but I don't heart that point in the middle of one of those papers when suddenly it's adverts for holidays and you can go to Las Vegas with Michael Greco. How did that happen? Anyway.
Get me on that flight.
Anyway, the interview with Poch says that he always keeps a bowl of lemons in his office.
Does he?
Because he feels that negative energy goes into lemons.
Oh, a scientist, I hear.
And he said, so if
all the sourness.
You know, it's that, let's say, for example, that Wanyama comes in asking why he's not in the first team enough. Such will be the level of negativity in the air in that he'll look across at the Lemons post debate, and they will have become slightly grizzled by antagonistic conversation.
Does he witness this happening then?
Well, I don't think
the grizzling of the lemons.
I don't want to put words in Poch's mouth.
Frank, is the grizzling of the lemons the follow-up to Silence of the Lambs?
I hope so. The grizzling of the lemons is chapter 7 in my book on ageing for the male body. But anyway, it's an interesting thing, and I like the fact that he's spoken about it. He speaks a lot about the energy that we all need to embrace.
Oh.
And I don't know if anyone has read...
working with Noel Edmonds a lot.
What he hasn't been working with is someone who knows the history of Glenn Hoddle's management career. But anyway, can I say, at this point, what about if we get some melons generally for the studio, just in case there are any...
Some lemons?
In case any neg comes in.
I'm a huge lemon fan. I don't know if you're aware of this.
Are you?
Oh, I used to eat them. I mean, I would sometimes...
eat lemons?
No, right.
You know, she was hypnotised.
I only use them for negative absorption.
Do you
myself.
eat a whole lemon, though, Frank? I would.
Oh,
Do you
what?
a whole lemon?
No, not like a peach. But I would cut it in half. Okay, let's
And once you cut it in half, I have never cut a lemon in half without taking the end that's got the nodule on it, holding it against my neck, and saying to someone, will you burst this for me? I have never been able to resist that prop joke. But you will sit and eat a lemon.
I would cut it in half. For example, if I was having...
My mouth's watering. Is that normal?
No, yes,
Mine
it is.
isn't.
It's very normal, but I'll do a button up. But
I thought you were just naturally disapproving. Turns out.
Frank, I love a lemon. I love a lemon.
Well, I didn't see that coming.
If you had a Coca-Cola drink and you had ice and a lemon, would you eat the whole lemon afterwards? The piece of lemon in it?
Well, I wouldn't have it with a whole lemon in it.
No, but would you
a lemon float?
Would you pop?
Quite a rustic bartender.
Would you pop the medieval bar? Would you pop that piece of lemon into your mouth afterwards?
Oh, yeah, I'd eat a little slice, but you're talking about taking on the whole fruit. I mean, God, that'd have to be a very negative. That would have to be divorce settlement discussions.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Yeah, we were talking about Mauricio Pochettino's
We were just
lemon.
adhering to the dictum when life gives you lemons.
Thank you.
I don't know that saying.
It's when
It's
life
when
gives
it
you
gets
lemons.
bad, like.
Do you seriously not know that?
When life gives
No.
you lemons, make lemonade. That's
serious?
the...
Oh, I didn't know
I mean,
that.
the Gen Zers are looking astonished.
Honestly, did you not know that?
I'm sorry. I've always been a big fan of. What about these apples? Is that
How do you like?
How do you like
them
these
apples?
apples?
I believe the
I think it's
run-up...
them apples, isn't
yes,
it?
I believe the run-up is, do you like apples? Do you like apples? How do you like them apples?
Oh, I've
And-
never
and
heard
then-
the run-up bit before.
How do you not know the run-up?
Oh, it's nice today.
Well,
We're getting all the
I don't like. I
stuff
don't like.
that we know
I tell you what I
bits
don't
of.
like: a ramp adage. I like ones that just hit the ground
Right.
running. I don't want to lead up to an adage. How do you like them apples? That's what the thing is.
Yeah, how do
I
you like these apples or them apples, depending on
I think
where
them.
you were
Them
raised?
is better, isn't it? For some reason, it sort of works in a.
Yes and no.
It's more provocative because of its. It deliberately spits in the face of accepted norms and grammatical structures.
Although I would like to point out what worries me a bit is I fear it belongs in the same Venn diagram. What's it called, Al? The circle in the Venn diagram. Is it just the circle?
Yeah,
I
Let's
fear
call it that.
it
the
belongs
overlapping bit.
in the similar circle to ain't.
Oh.
Well,
the use of them in that sense.
I'm anti,
and I ain't having
as
that.
you know. But I don't. There's some. I like them apples. It's got
Okay.
a nice. It's got a nice warm bit in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone's texted in. Simon King, I'm sorry, has tweeted a picture of some lemons. I've sat and eaten a lemon in the evening many a time.
Really?
See, thank you, Simon. Simon, call me.
Is he a hostage?
Love it.
Yeah, I want to tweet with a picture of the rest of his property. I want to see what kind of character
He
sits
then
and eats a
says-
lemon of an evening.
Hi. He says, love it! Exclamation mark. I love it after a lemon.
Yeah.
I'll also have one for the vitamin C boost when I have a cold.
Good.
I don't have honey and lemon, but to eat a lemon.
It's lovely.
Isn't it like that thing when stage hypnotists used to get people to eat an onion,
Yeah,
telling them it
thinking
was
it
a
was-
lovely juicy apple,
Yeah.
and then they
What
took
idiot
it.
would believe that?
Well, such is the power of completely made up hypnotism. Can I feel now in the life of yin and yang, only recently did I realise that there was no G on the end of yin, by the way. I thought it was yin and yang.
So did I.
Yeah,
Oh.
but it's yin and yang. It's like a lot of people say Ku Klux Klan,
Oh, yeah,
but it's
that's right.
coup. Fools.
I mean, that's a slightly more
yeah.
serious mistake.
It is if you're writing to them.
So maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hope we don't have anyone that's about to send a fan letter off. But yeah.
okay.
Anyway, so
Or
yin.
a letter of complaints.
Yes.
We could have both.
Yeah, a letter of complaint to the Ku Klux Klan. That would be an interesting thing. I really think you've gone too far. Anyway, yes, it's yin and yang.
Do you know I didn't know that? I've always
Yeah.
said yin and yang.
Yeah, so have I.
We've made fools of ourselves.
Yeah, but think of all the people I've educated this morning who've been saying, like me, fellow Yingers.
Oh,
And now we're all
Yingers.
been corrected.
I was
Yeah.
in that camp. Talking of camps, it's the intersection of two circles in a Venn diagram where something is in both camps.
Yeah.
It says 4, 5, 7. Yes.
More
Arguably as well.
eloquent way of saying the overlapping bit, which
Yeah.
is what I said.
Yeah, and also, ironically, the least camp text.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So we were talking about yin and yang in the context of Maurizio Pochettino, the Tottenham Hotspur manager. And the reason I brought up yin and yang is that some might think that some might be unsure of him now that he talks about lemon soaking up negativity in the atmosphere. I find it an interesting thing that I'm going to experiment with.
I find it interesting, but I can totally understand somebody thinking that he's perhaps not as intellectually rigorous as they're used to think he
You
was.
see, you're no nonsense.
Yeah.
And I think there's room for a bit of nonsense in the human soul. And let me tell you something that might warm you to, Poch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in hospitality at the Tottenham Stadium.
I thought that was your funny comedy name for hospital.
At the last, the last,
Hospitality.
the last game of the season, there was no clash with West Bromwich Albion. I've no guilt about it. And we were in there post-match, and we were talking to a couple of Tottenham legends, Cliff Jones and Steve Perryman. Boz very excited to get their autographs and all that. This is my son, Boz, who's a Tottenham fan. And then I was talking to them, and I looked, and Boz had disappeared. And you know that moment when you can't see where your child is, that clenched stomach. Well, where's he gone? And I looked across the room, and he was in full conversation with Pochettino. And I thought, oh no, because he's come up here post-match. He's obviously he's come up to relax. He doesn't want to be. So I thought, well, this if he's sort of off with Boz, that'll be so heartbreaking. So I went scurried across quickly to rescue him. I could hear Boz just finish saying, I think you're the probably the greatest manager of all time. At which
What
point,
did Poch do?
Poch held his face between his hands and kissed him on the top of the head in a really lovely way.
Nice.
I'm actually going to cry.
And Boz asked him for an autograph, and I was saying, "Look, I'm sorry about this," and he goes, "No, it's fine." And he signed the autograph, and he wrote. This is what he wrote. He wrote to Boz. He asked him his name on. He says to Boz, and then he wrote in block capitals. And he's Argentinian, so you know. He wrote in block capitals, "My best friend is you."
Excellent.
Pot. My best friend is you. I want that on a T-shirt.
That's lovely.
And
This is extraordinary. I mean, how
know.
can you compete with this
I know,
on the
and
present
that's
front?
because all the negativity has been taken out of Pot
yeah.
by
lemons.
adjacent lemons.
Well, my recycling bin's going to be full of lemons in the future weeks, isn't
Can I
it?
tell you one tiny sentimental postscript to that? When I went to give Boz his goodnight kiss that night, he was fast asleep, and just sticking out from underneath his pillow, I could see the signed programme
nice.
with Potty's signature.
Do you know, I find that so lovely. I love having a bit of footballers' memorabilia in the bedroom.
Well, just to
It's
squeeze a little...
something I feel very... just makes me happy.
It wouldn't be the first
No?
time, obviously. But no, it's lovely. But lovely. Onto the pillow, on the pillow.
Yeah.
But I, just to sprinkle a little bit of lemon juice on this super sweet thing, as we were leaving the Tottenham hospitality, I heard a voice say, "Well, he didn't ask me for an autograph." And I turned around, it was Lord Sugar. Bit of sugar and lemon, honestly. It's like having a big pancake, this anecdote.
Shrove
And
Spurs.
so he then came over and signed the thing as well. We went down in the lift with Lord Sugar. Now, how did he do this? Have you ever tried calling anyone in a lift? Reception is impossible in a lift.
It doesn't happen.
Absurd.
I imagine Frankie had some huge 1992 sort of car phone, like Dom Jolly phone.
No, but when we got to the bottom of the lift, we're in the car park, the door opens, and there is AMS1,
Oh, yes.
is Bentley.
It's Roller Bentley.
With the blokes, the chauffeur standing with the back door held open. Now, either he's been standing there for an hour with it held open like that, or there's some signal that says, I'm coming down, get the door open.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What I like is Buzz is the only autograph hunter I know where celebrities fight over him asking the autograph.
What about if Lord Sugar had kissed him on the head? I wonder what would have happened then. It would have been a bit like the old lemons during the Wanyama conversation. Buzz would have shrivelled to a tiny gremlin figure. Oh, what larks, Mr. Pip.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I was just showing off me potch pics.
We've
I'll show you some of my football. Oh, no.
got quite a lot of lemon correspondence.
Oh,
I
good.
think you've stirred up Frank Skinner. 774 has said, loving the lemon chat. I'm a full paid-up lemon fan, as the many Facebook posts read the sightings of a random lemon appearing on a roundabout in Woking will confirm.
Oh.
I don't know if that means growing or they've been discarded.
Are they confessing to be the phantom lemon lever?
Oh, maybe. If I was
I've said
technical
lever.
enough.
I'm talking about specifically about lemons.
Similar to the Northampton clown.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
They continue, if I was technical enough, I'd put in a link or whatever, but I can't.
So someone
Sounds like
it's
me.
the idea that someone, it's like a mystery thing that someone leaves a lemon in an odd place.
I imagine so,
and then
yeah.
think so.
photographs it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trish has also texted, I hate sugar, so I too love eating lemons
Hi,
and
Trish.
onions. Lush.
Trish,
Wow.
Trish, you-
really.
you had me at
What
Lemons.
about the first kiss when you meet Trish in her single days and she's been polishing off the onions and lemon?
Can I say, Trish,
Yeah.
you had me at Lemons, you lost me at Onions.
Well, we're all
Obviously.
different. That's the great joy of it.
And 107, this I like because there's a glimpse behind the curtain contained in this.
Oh, yeah.
Frank, the hypnotist trick is expedited by the larger the onion, then it has less taste. Try it.
Oh,
Robin
that's-
Westcliff.
That's why they never do it with a scallion.
And in that one,
Never seen a stage hypnotist use a scallion to this day.
I'm concerned that by reading that out, we've all been thrown out of the magic circle for giving away the secrets.
I'm worried that we might have been thrown into it.
They've never let me back in.
I don't like. I'm allergic to aftershave. I can't be in the magic circle.
Well, I'm allergic to polyester waistcoats,
Well, then we have no hope.
so I'll never be, Sorry. We've also had a complaint.
What?
Oh,
An indirect complaint.
I've had a few complaints in my time.
Well, 667 has a neighbour listening to us very loudly.
Oh, okay.
Please, can you ask the man? I'm not going to give the address. It's in Chatburn.
No, it'd be wrong to give the address, wouldn't it?
They would like it turned down. There's no offence to us, but this person listens to us every weekend. Hello, man, we like you. He doesn't respond to knocks on the door. He listens to us so loudly he can't hear the door knocking.
Can I ask you a question? Are there about 12 bottles of milk on his front doorstep? I think this might be... I don't know if you've ever done that thing of using your shoulder to knock a door down. I don't know if it can, but I think Alan Cochrane is available for hire.
I'm worried, Frank, that he was the man who they were basing our radars on. It turns out he's not even no longer with
I'll
us.
tell you what it reminds me of. Do they still do this when someone phones the radio and the DJ starts saying in a slightly panicked way, have you got your radio on? Have you got your radio on?
They do still do that.
Yeah, I love it. You wouldn't think in 2019 that'd still be a big technical nightmare. Oh, you phoned us whilst having your radio on. Oh man, I love it. Well, I don't want to go into the next bit now, because as soon as I press the button, the producer's going to explain to me why you have to switch your radio on. It's the most tedious thing that's ever happened to me.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
What's the food like at Spurs? Do they feed you well?
Yeah, it's you know, they're boom times for them. But,
Do you know what? That's what I said. This is a great moment for you. I'm going to let you have it. Okay.
Yeah, but my own team, it's gone the other way.
Put the sad music on, everyone.
The Gap. Okay, maybe let me put on some.
Meanwhile, over at the Albion.
Meanwhile, over at the Albion. Oh no, that's not what's
It's
happening.
too upbeat.
No, yeah, that's too
It's too upbeat.
I'll think of something else. Don't worry.
Loneliest man in the
That'd be
world
good if
might
they
be
were doing
out.
that. That's like a training montage.
Yeah.
song.
Oh, I love a montage. I tell you what.
I love
I like any kind of montage in a film or TV where something that's long and arduous happens in a series of brief scenario. Anything. Like building a house, getting fit.
Oh, excuse me, I've got one.
Go on.
The makeover that the friend gives in preparation for the new life or the new start or the new man.
Yeah.
Just what I was thinking.
There's always someone sort of shaking. There'll be a woman holding a dress up against herself in a changing room on a hanger, and the friend will be shaking her head, and then she'll hold another dress up, and the friend will clap her hands and put a thumb up.
That's it.
Nice.
Okay.
But sometimes people get degrees and everything in the space of a 30-second montage.
Yeah, you do feel
So
like...
you see them sitting up at night with the spectacles on that don't feature anywhere else in the film,
Right.
Making notes on a book with just a angle poise on, like they don't want to put the main light on in the room.
Is the thing you like about this that you feel like the story's got a real momentum during that montage? Like, we're cracking through this.
For a second, I believe that it is.
Yeah.
It's easier than you might think to achieve enormous things in life.
Yeah.
It's like the plus 10 or plus 20 when you're speeding through your iPlayer or one of your... Do you know what I mean? I love doing that. Plus 20 seconds, I'm doing it.
But come on, I mean, when he finally bounds up those steps in Philadelphia, having got fit, Rocky, that is a brilliant movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I am, like many people, have stood in those two brass foot plates at the top of those steps now, so you can stand exactly
have
where Rocky stood.
That's lovely,
I
Frank.
briefly thought you were talking about the movie Philadelphia,
So
which
did I.
don't think contains any montage scenes.
Less uplifting at the end.
No, that's a sad
Frank,
piece.
another thing, because I'm exactly like you in terms of I love the speedy life change, if you know what I mean.
Yes, totally.
Wish mine would hurry up.
Come on, yours has. Celebrated author. Is she on Kindle, Al?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Frank, because 361 has texted, "Morning, listening as usual on Saturday morning. Thought I should check out Emily's book. You should. Question, why is it not on Kindle? Bernie Enfield."
It is on Kindle.
It is on Kindle, Bernie.
I'm sure that's actually Bernie Enfield. It'd be a warm-up comic.
Also, Al wasn't calling it Kindle Bernie. That's not his little name for Kindle.
It's got to be on. Surely it's on.
It's definitely on there.
It's
Emily says
it's
so.
on Kindle, I promise.
But if you look
Check
it up,
it out.
if you're looking up, it's got more stars than the firmament.
Yeah.
Can I also say in one of those montages that I enjoy is when they want to speed up the sort of meeting process and settling down. There's always a woman painting a wall in a man's shirt.
Oh, yeah.
With a pregnancy bump under a big man's shirt.
lovely.
Yeah,
maybe a bit of paint goes on her nose and he might
Like
sort of
that.
kiss it off.
Yeah, it's often something. Then he
Up a
dies of
ladder.
lead poisoning.
And then he dies of lead poisoning.
Gets a real taste for it.
Do you remember that
Turns out he
Simon
loves
Bates
pain.
thing? Da-na-na-na.
Yeah.
That summer, Jennifer had her colon removed. It was always like, oh, it's going so well for Jennifer and Martin. Oh, why'd you have to have that bit, Simon? Well, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, get off me. Creepy. I wouldn't tell the creepy man my private stories. Well, no, don't tell him.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
We've had some outside world correspondence, Al, haven't we?
We have.
We had one regarding the film montage. Montage? What does it? Montage. You were talking, Frank, about the makeup. Well, you were talking about the sort of life beats hits.
It's the sort of accelerated improvement montage.
Well,
Let's call it the aim, because that's your aim.
Lovely, Frank. Oh, you'd be a great life coach. In some areas. 848. I hate, strong word, but strong feelings, a film montage.
Oh, no.
But not quite as much as a tracking shot on an old-fashioned map with a red dotted line showing an epic journey. Smacks of low budgets and a lack of imagination.
Well, you say that, but it's so helpful and clear for me, the map thing.
You like the map?
I do.
Ben continues, having said that, I don't want every toilet break and hours of searching for the sucky sweets in the glove box. Much love, Ben. And I think that's true. You need to condense these journeys, the boring parts of people's lives.
Well,
but
I don't stand on maps in fiction books, like...
Oh, no, I never look at...
Yeah, I just flick straight through those.
And that's somewhere where Kindle falls flat on its face. Any sort of illustration, I think, ooh, no, I don't like this. This is like early days of the internet when it was still in Tim Berners-Lee's shed. Kind of an illustration. Oh, no. Some people buy, like, illustrated books on Kindle.
I'll tell you what I think about maps is that... I feel, well, I'm talking fiction here.
Yeah.
Is that I think I'm finding it hard to suspend my disbelief because I can imagine these characters that you've created, but don't start drawing maps, love, because I won't believe that the people live there.
No, I don't like any of that. I don't think I've seen a map in the last 40 years when I haven't imagined Union Jack pointy things sticking their tongues out at Nazis on the other side of the channel from the opening titles of Dad's Army. We're all different. Let's celebrate that this morning on Absolute... It's not going into a link. I was accidentally going into a link. That's like when I saw Bob Hope live when he was 91 and having mental trouble. When he... they were singing...
Elegantly put.
They were singing Don't Sit Under the Apple Tree with Anyone Else But Me. And it ends, Till I Come Marching Home, which he did about halfway through the second verse, while the entire orchestra looked alarmed and frightened. Poor Bob. But as I said to David Baddiel at the time, at 40 quid a ticket, I think we can still laugh.
Yeah.
207 has sent us a message. You mentioned huge trucks with rockets on them when you played a clip of the Russian anthem.
No, I was thinking May Day.
You did. Have you ever noticed the trucks have a tiny fire extinguisher on the front bumper?
No.
What's the point of that exactly? A missile capable of wiping out most of America, and they've got a fire extinguisher not much bigger than a thermos flask to put it out.
Wow.
Good obs. 207.
I'm going to check that out now. As you can imagine, I have a large gallery of Soviet Maydays. And
it's one of the files, isn't it?
I've added North Korea now. North Korea have a thing at the end of theirs where small children drive pedal cars with facsimile missiles on the back. They really do. Beautiful. What they should have that with an enormous fire extinguisher on those throwing everything into strange relief. That's a great spot though. I'm going to check it out.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Okie dokie.
Things have gone a bit topsy-turvy in this studio because you've both got the wrong...
Talk about hot
cups.
drink gate.
I don't like it.
You know that there's the thing now that you have your own cup that you go to the coffee shop with so that you're not imposing lots of waste and plastic and all that on the planet.
Environmental emergency.
Can I say, Al, can I tell you what completely changed my opinion about all this is listening to Frank Skinner, yes, you heard me, interview Al Gore, which you can still listen to on Absolute Radio, and it's absolutely brilliant.
Well, thank you very much. And on that topic, so what we should say is I've got a Doctor Who one.
Yes.
And Alan...
Cup, he means.
Yeah. And Alan has got one with a cockerel on because he's known as the cockerel. And today, in a terrible mix-up at the coffee shop, I've ended up sopping from the cockerel.
Yes.
And he's...
And I've got a TARDIS to drink.
Yeah, he's sipping the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's all right.
Yeah, it's totally fine. It still does the job. It's
It
just
does, but...
It's not personalised,
I
is it?
feel like I can taste your spit on it. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I think of much nicer ways of doing it.
Would be.
And also, when Al started drinking from that police box cup, he started saying, "Can I just be honest with you about something?"
No,
Did I?
I don't think it works like that.
And Frank
Actually,
said,
how much did it cost this cup? It seems to me to be recklessly expensive.
"Oh,
I'm just going to
say,
say that impersonation of me.
My favourite Alan Cochrane, Toby Jones. Anyway, on this topic, I was... here's what happened to me this week. I was on Sky News.
oh, did we miss something? What
in
happened?
the
Were
morning.
they doorstepping you?
They haven't finally got me.
Mr. Skinner, Mr. Skinner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a rumour that I'm going to be the next leader of the... No. What happened was I was selling my wares,
Oh, yeah.
plugging my various stand-up
On the
things.
news.
On the news. That's how big I am. It's actually news that
Did you wear your I Heart News T-shirt that we got sent for?
No, but I'll tell you what happened. As we were... they were playing some of the adverts, I think, it being Sky, and I was talking to Sarah, Jane, me, and the team, and I said it's weird this, I said, because Sky News has actually slightly changed my life, because I was watching, they did a big thing about they were one of the pioneers of going on about plastic in the oceans and showing,
Oh, were they?
you know, those really horrible pictures of plastic bottles and stuff on beaches.
Oh, the straws.
And I said at the time I was having 12 bottles of water delivered every week, and I thought one morning while seeing this, I thought, we're going to stop this, and I just kept, I think, 2 or 3 bottles, and I just refill them from the tap. That was the story. So when it went on air, Sarah, Jane, me says, you were just telling us Sky's been quite a part of your life. So I told this story. I thought it's good, fair play to them, they're doing it. So a couple of nights later, I put the telly on to watch the news, the again on Sky. And there's a programme on Sky which, I don't know if you're aware of it, it's a sort of a lowbrow debate show called The Pledge.
All right.
I've seen it clipped online. Never seen the whole thing.
Who presents it?
It's I think it swaps around a bit. There's a regular team.
Okay.
You know when you watch Question Time and they have like the celebrity on.
Yes.
I mean, it's been me, so I think I can speak openly about this. And they've got opinions and that, and I'm not saying they're not imbeciles, but they don't really know the topics. They're there for a bit of,
They're us, essentially.
They're us. And if I want to hear us, I'll let a couple of buses go past and just stay in the stop.
Yeah.
Anyway, this show is just those people.
It's not.
It is. So
Is it?
You know that Michael Gove quote, we've all had enough of experts.
Yeah.
Well, it was the treatment for this show. But like I say, I put myself in the same thing. But I like to have, if you're talking about, I don't know, politics, I like to have some political experts and politicians and stuff like that. But we're all different. Anyway, I accidentally caught the end of The Pledge.
Right.
It's called The Pledge, by the way, I think, because it's named after Pledge, the multi-surface cleaner, because it cleans away any sort of nuance or subtlety or finer points of an argument and leaves it sparkling and easy to see. Anyway, we didn't have the sound on, obviously.
Oh, didn't you?
But then suddenly I appear.
right.
No.
I appear.
And then you put the
as
sound
a
on.
clip, of course.
I want to listen to this guy.
Suddenly I'm on the Pledge. I mean, I had one hand on my phone complaining to my agent.
Yeah.
But, well, I'll tell you after
I
this.
don't know where the other one was.
What happened next? No, I've taken the pledge.
Oh, stop it.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
You've had a bit of praise, Frank.
Have I?
Well,
We don't do praise.
I know we don't, but I'm going to read it to you only because I like it, because it's slightly dated praise.
Oh, okay.
And I think there's a statute of limitations with praise. I think, bear with, Travels with Chester has got in touch
Okay.
via social media. Totally abstract, but I've just seen a clip of you in an audience with Lily Savage from
Wow.
1997.
Wow.
Still hysterically funny. Such a fast-thinking stand-up. Now, what I can't work out is this praise for Lily
Or me.
or for FS?
Yeah, sounds like me.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we were
think
talking.
you're right.
We were talking about this thing. Can I say that the upshot, the reason all this cropped up really is that
You
Sky.
being on the pledge.
Yeah, but the thing that
I didn't think
the
things got
beginning,
that bad. I thought it was just Pernod.
The beginning of this was the fact that I'd done this getting rid of plastic bottles because of what. Today I got a parcel from Sky. We heard you on Sky News saying that you use less plastic. We hope these inspire you to switch from plastic bottles altogether, etc. And they've sent me one of those travel cups designed by Ronnie Wood.
No.
No.
Yeah, can you believe that?
What, Ronnie Wood has designed a travel cup?
Yeah.
Is that already in the news and stuff? Have I missed
I
a
don't think- I
huge
don't think-
I
story?
don't think it made the bongs.
No, maybe
Although he did.
I might post a picture of me with the Ronnie Wood travel cup, and they've also sent me one of
Could do.
those bottles where you don't have to, a metal bottle.
Uh-huh.
So it's all lovely with Sky. Okay, back to that section I'm calling the ledge on the pledge. When I suddenly
I
saw
still feel like we've got a loose end about Ronnie Wood. Didn't Kevin Costner come up with something to fix an oil spill or something?
Oh,
Did
did he?
It feels weird, but
I love a practical
the
celebrity.
Former rock and roller and now musical theatre legend Tommy Steele did the sculpture of Eleanor Rigby in Liverpool.
what?
I know.
Wow.
So it's all lovely with Sky. They've bought into the fact that I was inspired by them, and they're helping me in my quest to eliminate plastic from my
Yes.
life.
Yeah.
So anyway, the reason I was on the pledge when I turned up the sound and rewound and I'd listened to it is that they'd voted me Groveller of the Week
Oh.
for going on Sky and talking about how it was them that had got me off plastic bottles.
No.
I like to see the pledge embracing the Save the Planet thing. Can you believe it?
Unkind.
Groveller of the Week for responding to a campaign to stop people bringing plastic into the environment.
Supporting their initiative.
Their own initiative on Sky. I mean, for goodness sake.
Do you get that if you donate to sort of children in need? Do they name and shame? Well, I'd like
Yeah.
to read out a worthy donator
Yeah,
of
exactly.
the week.
I'll tell you, they were a heartbeat away from calling me a do-gooder. So I think the departments need to get together and say it's all right not to use plastic, guys, on the pledge. They'll probably be, doing some big analysis of some, I don't know, social housing thing that they saw on Wikipedia.
On the pledge front, Frank,
Yeah.
660 has got in touch. I've just checked our kitchen cupboard where we store the cleaning equipment.
Okay.
I see we have lemon pledge.
Oh, well.
I can't help feeling that not only does this give a lovely shine to wooden surfaces whilst giving off a fresh aroma, but by a freak of potch, it's absorbing negativity at the same time, a sort of wash and go of the polish world. That's from Nasher, spelt with the reg formation.
The trouble
with a
is,
four
though,
in
it's
it.
what happens once the negativity is absorbed. You don't want to come down in the morning and your lovely Formica decorative laminate worktop looks like driftwood as it's been raddled by negativity.
You need to get it out of the hat. It's like the ring in The Lord of the Rings. It's toxic.
I'm worried now about the fact I used to clean myself with KFC lemon-scented wet wipes in case of an emergency. Looking back, that explains what has happened to me in later life.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We should probably discuss last week's Eurovision Song Contest performance by the artist known as Madonna, who I think was performing under a character. She does sometimes do characters, doesn't she?
Does she?
Yeah.
Well, it's the first I heard of it.
Madame X.
Madame X, that's right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she does that thing, what's it called? Like a doppelganger, not...
Alter ego.
Alter egos,
Yeah.
that's the one. Doppelgangers.
Yes.
What an idiot I am,
You have to turn around 3
come
times
on.
now
honestly.
if you say doppelganger.
Do I?
There's some weird thing you have to turn around.
If you say doppelganger.
Yes.
Oh, now we've all got to do it.
It's all right, I can do it on my chair. Hold on.
It's the joy of the revolving chair and
Well,
a
the
weird
good
rule,
thing is
isn't
that
it?
our readers won't even notice that I'm doing it. Now, of course, I'm wrapped in... I'm going to have to do it again, guys.
Don't do it.
Sorry.
I'm a little bit concerned that
Hold on
if
to
you do
your
3, you might end
breakfast.
up strangling yourself with that cable.
No, everything's fine. Don't worry. Don't panic. Here
he's
we
gone.
are. We're back.
For the readers, he's gone back the way he came, so
Yes.
that it's not...
Yes, it was
Sorry,
in
don't
Tel Aviv. And
Well, I was... a friend of mine who is Jewish said to me it's Tel Aviv.
Really?
Yeah.
is that correct? I do apologise.
So I'm sticking with that.
Okay.
All right. Tel Aviv. And, she was dressed as Madame X, which seemingly involves wearing a black eye patch with some sparkles on it.
I'm unsure about that. Is
The
that
eye
sort of disability chic?
Yes, I felt a bit similar to that.
If I did my tour in a mobility scooter on stage, I think I'd be roundly condemned.
There would be some brouhaha.
There would be, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see why you can just take on the eye patch as if it's some sort of, comedy, sexy thing.
I think she's showing us her, if I may use the
She's shown
football...
us everything else.
if I may use the football commentator's phrase, bounce back ability. You know, when they say that about teams that have been under duress and then they bounce
Yes.
back.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure the last time we discussed Madonna's public performance, she tripped off some stairs.
Yes.
And I think she's saying, not only can I still perform live, but I can still perform live with only one eye. I'm only using one.
Oh,
I think she's saying to us, I'm all right, guys.
That was
I don't
a
even
risk.
need my depth perception.
Because unable to judge distance, of course, if you've only
yes.
got one eye.
I can't believe she could
If
do
only
that.
she'd remembered the other bit about performing live.
Yeah. Well, maybe that was it. Maybe.
I knew she'd
I think
forgotten.
she spent so much focus on the spatial awareness, she forgot she was
you
singing.
had to sing.
Maybe she was
in
using...
tune.
What if she used a 3-dimensional stave and because she only had one eye, she couldn't see the spaces between the notes and this became confused.
Oh, that's why
it.
she was all over the shop.
I have to say, I mean, I know I'm not a fan of Madonna with a capital F. I have seen her live a couple of times just because she is a social
Me
phenomenon.
too. Yeah.
And live, she gives good show.
Right.
And, she's a ledge.
Indeed.
A pledge.
There's slightly off-key performances,
Slightly.
but that one was honestly like it was the Madonna's answer to Les Dawson playing the piano. It was like when somebody does comedy bad singing and you think, well, no one ever gets it that wrong.
In an audition for someone being tuneless, you would say, take it down a bit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? You'd say it's a bit over the top.
But
If we're all doing a metaphor, it was like, when the sat-nav drives into a bit of road that has been made new and the tune was over there and she was in a sort
Yes.
of no man's
Yes,
land.
it didn't register the new roundabout. But as I said to Lorraine Kelly only this week, we can forgive.
Clang.
We can forgive.
Name drop, Frank.
Do you want to get the Hoover out?
We can forgive Madonna a lot because she comes over as such a lovely person.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
So Madame
Gag.
X,
Madam, I
a.k.a.
had,
Alan the Pirate.
I had not picked up at all on the fact that she was a character.
Oh, it's like
When he interviewed her before, the man. Well, I don't. The only presenter I know was Bar Raffaele. Do you know? Do you know
she
Bar
went out with
Raffaele?
Leonardo DiCaprio for a while.
And is a sort of supermodel, and she did two brilliant things. Do you know anything of Bar Raffaele? I mean,
Do you
obviously,
know her work?
No, I
inevitably, she's a beautiful woman, and that she's a model. She
Right.
looks great, but she did two fabulous things. She didn't pay tax for years because she didn't live anywhere, was her argument.
good.
Which is
argument.
it's a great no fixed abode supermodel.
Yeah.
But my favourite one is that she avoided national service in Israel by marrying someone for a very short period and then unmarrying them.
Oh.
And when they asked her about it, she said, celebrities have other needs.
Fair point.
Unbelievable. So,
Well, I'll tell you, the only other
knew
one I
her.
recognised was, are you familiar with Verka Suderchka?
no.
The super odd in a tinfoil hat.
Oh, yes, yes.
I mean, isn't it awful that as soon as I say that, you say, oh, yes.
That's a singer,
oh,
not
yes.
a present. Oh, no, I like her.
Bought Freddie Mercury's car.
Is that right?
Yes.
Mercury's car?
Rolls Royce, yeah.
Really?
Here you go.
Honestly, the facts are absolutely spilling out of us. It's
I'd
like
like to
working
offer
with
an-
Fry. It's like having Fry on the show, but no cards. That's the difference.
I'd like to apologise as the motoring correspondent of the show. I feel I should have known that Freddie Mercury's Rolls Royce was bought by,
Verka Suderchka.
bless you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Sorry,
so
back to you in the studio, Frank Skinner.
can I just say that the Madonna performance, which was in many ways unbelievable. You'd think, you know what? If you fired into a dark, let's say, a pigeon loft, you would hit some pigeons.
Right.
She seemed to, as the note came, she seemed to dock away at the last minute, like Keanu Reeves in The Matrix. Yeah. Here comes the note. You've got this. Wow!
You've swerved out of
You've
the way
missed
of it.
it. It was almost like she was reading the clear bits on the stave and trying to avoid the black dots. But it was.
Well, they've put the I mean, I don't want to say auto-tune, but that's what it
A
is.
tidied up version.
They've put a cleaner version,
Yeah.
an easier to listen to version, up on her official website.
It is the definition of easy listening.
I know, but that has
But you
made
can't
me
do it
look.
after the fact.
That's made me look a liar to so many of my friends. I've said, you've got to watch it because you won't believe. And they've looked it up on there and they've cleaned it all up. And now she sings,
Yeah.
I won't say beautifully, but she sings,
Yeah.
I mean, that
in
is.
tune.
We should say the suggestion is, and this is a suggestion, that the playback or the auto. She normally does. She doesn't really sing live. That's what people often say.
But what about when I've seen her in concert twice, as I said. You're telling me she wasn't singing live?
You may say that. I couldn't possibly comment.
Another glimpse behind the curtain.
Yeah.
First the big onion and now this.
No, yeah, exactly. Is that
wanna
another of
know-
her characters?
Verka Suderchka.
She comes on as an enormous onion. Yeah, be careful on that. At the end of it, by the way, she fell off the top steps. She just
Oh,
fell
yeah, I
backwards.
didn't like that bit.
Was that a deliberate reference to when she fell? Was it
No,
Coachella?
I think some of the
Was
other
it
dancers.
Coachella
have
or was
done-
that woman with the horrible advent calendar? what was the thing where she fell
That was
off?
the Brits.
Oh, was it?
That was
Was
the
it?
Brits she fell off at. But she fell off
Was
with.
it? Oh, well, I
She fell
thought
off
it-
with Quavo. Did you see Quavo?
Yes.
Quavo, was it? I called him Quavo the whole night.
Oh, mate.
I thought he was a
Of course
bit
you did.
cheesy.
You've had a mare.
He's Takeoff's uncle.
Cheesy Quavo?
He's Offset's cousin as well.
Is he really? Is he one of the Lancashire offsets? I know the family.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, went to school.
So
with the
you think
Offsets.
was it intentional?
Well, was it a joke?
Was it
I mean,
a nod too?
she's a great one for self-mockery and
Known for it.
Yeah.
She's got a lovely sense of humour. Oh no,
Yeah.
that was someone else.
So did she fall off saying, "Look, I can fall off and it's fine"? Was that the point at the end?
Maybe. Well, some of the previous dancers had fallen at that point. Like
Yeah.
Those are the ones who forgot to put the
That's what
auto-tune
I
on
mean.
now.
Was
Those
it
are the ones who fell.
Was it a celebration of the? I'd have got Gemma Collins on to recreate her,
Oh, that would
her
be...
fall into a trap door on the.
I wonder if Gemma Collins would have done Tel Aviv, even if they hadn't offered her 10 quid for turning up.
What about if after Madonna had fallen at the Brit, she'd been on MasterChef doing that? Like, GC was paid off, she always claimed, by the BBC. The only gig... was it MasterChef? Is that what it's called?
I believe so, yeah.
So.
I think it's
She
she's
did
the
it with
only
Zoe, 'cause
person...
Zoe was on it.
She's the only person to have her contract arranged by injury lawyers for you.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
We have been talking about the Eurovision Song Contest
Can I say that Madonna's performance on there was... she used Like a Prayer, backed with a lot of video footage of Roman Catholic clerical figures
Oh, here we go.
as a clear attack on... I'm just saying...
Was it?
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying God doesn't always use the thunderbolt. Sometimes he goes for the vocal cords.
Oh, I didn't know it was a clear attack. I thought it was...
Can I say as well, I mean, she took a while getting down those stairs.
Did she?
That's all.
No, but
It
that
was a
was-
bit,
it wasn't her.
Miss Chichonia knows help is on its way.
Until Alan informed me of the Madam X element, I'm now thinking maybe Madam X can't sing
Oh, yeah.
that character.
Oh, that's the
Yeah, and
shtick.
she's very method.
Well, I think it was Sally Ann Field. Is that
Yes.
possible in Cabaret at Studio 54 in New York with Alan Cumming? Do you know Alan Cumming? No, but thanks for the tip. Anyway, so she played Sally Bryce in Cabaret, the Liza Minnelli role, and her singing was a bit hit and miss. And I thought, I'm surprised that she got it was fine, but not great.
Yeah.
I thought I was surprised she got the job.
Close but no cigar.
And then after I thought, maybe that she's such a good actress, she has thought, you know what, Liza Minnelli wouldn't have got sacked in a million years
Right.
in
Yes.
Cabaret because
Yes,
she's
this is
too
true,
amazing.
yeah.
The real Sally Bryce is a slightly
Sally
tragic...
Bowles, isn't it?
Sally Bowles, yeah. Sally Bryce is...
Someone you once
Something
went out
else.
with?
No, Sally Bryce is another lead figure.
Yes. In a musical? Or
I
in
think like Funny Girl or something like that.
Fanny Bryce.
Fanny Bryce.
Yeah.
Oh.
We got there.
Honestly.
Campus, 2 minutes
Thank
ever
God,
on this show.
I read it as Bryce. That's why I was avoiding it.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Sally Bowles, of
Sally
course.
Bowles, yeah.
Sally Bowles wouldn't be a brilliant, amazing performer, would she? She'd be
No.
okay because
Yeah.
her whole life was just chaos. So maybe Madonna's thinking, I don't want to make Madam X another brilliant singer like me. I'll
Yeah.
paint her as a slightly that she's so powerful and evil that you can hear it.
Yeah.
Someone has texted in 550. I didn't hear it, but I know someone who was actually there and her singing was fine in the room.
Calm off.
I believe-
that person must have a room full of lemons, hasn't they? Because you've got to have some light and dark.
They're certainly a very dedicated fan.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
for
look.
sure. I wonder whether...
We all have a bad night, you know.
Oh, I mean, I've had a few gigs that I would happily auto-tune
Yeah.
if I had the...
But would you?
possibility.
Bad night.
Would
Bad
you?
night at the match. I mean, that was Eric Cantona proportions. I think that was a disgruntled employee. That would be a brilliant last act of revenge, wouldn't it? To switch off the auto-tune.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
She must be able to sing a bit. She's a singer by trade.
You'd think.
Well, I don't want to appear naive, but she must be able to sing somewhat.
Yeah.
You know,
Come
when
on,
you-
guys,
You
back
know
me
when you
up.
were trying not to appear naive?
Yeah.
Epic fail.
Yes.
But what about in the early days when she
Yeah,
turned
that's-
up?
The voice has so many things.
Oh,
you know, it
Madam
changes.
Good.
Madam X.
Frank, at some point, I would like to discuss the Icelandic entry
Well,
Atari, are you familiar with their work?
There's still time, don't worry. But we need to have this break.
Okay.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Oh, someone wants to know the details. 526, Frank, can you announce your details about you coming to Cambridge in November and where in Cambridge? Tracy, look, we can't offer a bespoke service.
Yeah.
But please come,
However,
Tracy.
do come, Tracy.
I mean, Google could be a friend here, Tracy.
Or specifically, you can find tickets at, I think, frankskinnerlive.com. Is that it, Frank?
Well, that probably would work.
Probably.
Oh, I love that he doesn't even know his website.
No, I don't know
Yeah,
that.
all the dates for Showbiz are on frankskinnerlive.com. But
briefly, the whole of June and some July, Leicester Square Theatre, London, Edinburgh at the festival, and then September onwards, all over the UK.
Can we talk, Frank, about the Icelandic entry?
Now, which one was that? Was that the very heavy metal one?
When you say very heavy metal, I mean they were friends of yours, if you know what I mean.
Oh, they were in the community.
They were in. There was a bondage element.
Bondage element?
Yeah.
Had spikes coming out of their face.
Yeah, they had a bit of that.
They had collars. There was no one who wasn't attached to a metal collar.
They had spikes coming out of their face?
Yes. One had those, you know,
How
those
did
sort
it
of
greet people?
rubber spikes.
No, but I think they.
How did they do a pre-show hug?
That was the guy who opened all their bills. It was very practical, as it turned out.
They're called Hatari,
Right.
which I believe means haters.
Oh,
Well, haters gonna hate.
Atari gonna hari. Atari.
Atari gonna. Yeah, I don't want to heart. I hate to be harried.
It's not my thing.
Yeah.
They were quite extraordinary. They had gimp suits, we should say, unless people didn't see
Are we
it.
allowed
Yeah,
to
they
say
had
this?
gimp suits.
Yeah, they are.
But I quite like them
Eurovision
because they
charm.
were all different and strange, and I did like it. I knew they weren't going to get anywhere, but
Right.
Well, not during the show, anyway.
No, I tell you, I loved the Slovenia one.
What was that then?
It was a couple dressed in white, and
Yes, she was staring at him.
the girl looked like she was part of some secret government program to examine psychokinetic powers.
Right.
That she'd been in a lab that afternoon moving ball bearings with her mind, and then turned up for the music thing.
Yes.
And she stood a bit too close to him
Yeah.
and looked a bit strange. But I did love it.
Yes, I thought you'd like that.
It's been steadily squeezed out of Eurovision. Anything that's a bit different or interesting.
Oh,
And
has it? That's a
It's
shame.
very much a sort of default stuff that sounds like an X Factor sound check.
Oh, that's a pity.
It's all X Factor. Except for, well, we should say Michael Rice, our entry, the British entry.
Yes.
He didn't go well.
No, in fact,
Poor guy.
we thought it didn't go well, and then it turns out, well, it went even worse.
Yeah, that was. He finished bottom with 16, and then 3 days later they said we got it wrong. It's actually 11.
What? They took 5 more points
I
off
think
him.
what happened was they heard it again. I did feel. I mean,
a shame.
He was a nice bloke, etc. He had a lovely voice, and he had the classic X Factor. You know, he looked like Boy Next Door, Northern accent, and all that. But for all that, it was an incredibly dull, what you'd expect kind of a thing. And when I saw it, I said to Kat, "This will finish bottom." I did do that thinking that we finished bottom most years. We hadn't actually finished bottom since 2010. But I felt if he'd been given a good song, who knows?
Michael Rice.
The song was called Bigger Than Us. It was a song about everyone
That's
else's
true.
scores.
Oh, yes.
But I can't.
That was our theme song when I worked at a fashion magazine.
It was about people who didn't work
Yeah.
at fashion magazine.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
There was Norway Who,
Yes.
do you remember that one? I really liked that one, and that won the public vote.
Did
That
it?
was a sort of Lily Allen, Kate Nash. Oh no, that was Denmark.
No, this
Oh.
one, it was people. It was quite a good song, but they had a bloke singing. I think it's called Sami, and it's a sort of the Sami people are in that sort of Norway, Northern Europe thing, and it would cut to this bloke with a shaven head, and he'd go. Eloi, Eloi, la. Eloi, Eloi, la. It was brilliant. I mean, he
Sounds
made
good.
that. It reminded me of what Eurovision used to be like
Right.
when it was like represented different countries
Yes.
instead of a lot of people singing in English trying to become stars.
Well, in the days when there were songs where the chorus went with my golden boots. I mean, my golden boots was
Oh,
a
I don't
classic.
remember that
Oh,
one.
golden boots and Abolly Be.
I don't think they should sing in English unless they're English-speaking countries. I think you should represent your country, shouldn't you? Don't you?
I agree.
I think it's a sellout.
And we should say Michael Rice.
That's the British entry.
Yeah. I mean, where he was going wrong, that wasn't the job for him with the name.
Yeah,
Rice, baby.
they've got,
Should have gone.
Didn't he have
they've got
that?
plenty of rice in the Middle East, haven't they? They don't need our rice.
He had that on his T-shirt, though, didn't he? When he arrived back at the airport, it said rice, baby.
Is that true?
Did it?
Yeah, and I think the Daily Mail said his cheeky T-shirt. I thought, well, I don't get it. Isn't it someone ordering? No, but that song... you might say anyone who doesn't have lemons at home might be appalled by the negativity towards that song. But people said, it's like it's a patriotic thing. That song was written by, I think 4 people, one of whom was a Canadian woman called Laurel Barker, who also wrote Germany, and Switzerland's songs.
What?
She
And
put
one
the
of
boot
the-
in for us.
And one of the other writers, he was born in London,
Yeah.
but he grew up in Sweden, and he was the bloke representing Sweden in the Eurovision.
Are you joking me?
So the song...
They're playing against
up.
themselves, these
Yeah,
people.
but so
This is disgusting.
they're not songs that emanate from those countries. I
Well,
mean,
not just that. There needs to be a steward's inquiry.
Indeed.
I love that phrase.
I wish
Yeah.
there was.
But Frank, this is wrong.
I agree.
I don't think it's right, but anyway, it's true, is what I'm saying. The whole thing is it needs a bit of a reshuffle. That's my verdict.
Europe.
No. Well, actually, he blamed Brexit for
He
getting
did
such a
blame
low
Brexit.
score.
Did he?
I mean, God bless him for that. He had that up his sleeve. Hey, I know if this doesn't work. If this doesn't work, lads, leave it to me. I'll blame it on Brexit. It'll not be a problem. I can hear that now. I can hear it being said in the tent outside.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
Frank, 559 has a poser for you.
Okay.
If Frank thinks Eurovision entries should only sing songs in their own language, how does he feel about the idea that maybe all West Bromwich players should actually be born in West Bromwich? As a non-sports fan, I think it's logical, but I know nothing really.
But
Game
the-
of Thrones.
but the West Bro-
Natalie Burgess from Wakefield.
Well, the thing is,
Oh, you're witness.
The thing is, Nat, if I can call you that, the West Brom players are representing West Brom, and so it doesn't matter where they came from. They are there to represent the team. The team is not a country or anything of that nature. It's a club, it's a limited company, I believe.
Is it?
Whereas if you represent your country, especially in the Eurovision Song Contest, it seems to me, A, that the song should be written by someone from that country.
Yes.
And also, isn't
It's
it
a
all about
submission from the
national pride and being... It's all about this celebration of this...
Nigel Farage.
I know this is a bit unfashionable, but that Europe is so diverse and interesting and stuff like that. I don't see... I think they should be proud to sing in their own languages.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not...
Even if some of them are unpleasant on the ear.
Well,
But I like those ones, Al.
Well, I'm loving
I
this
like the
Sami,
ones.
I must say. Hello, hello, hello. I mean, I'll be singing that all day.
Well, someone
we
has...
all will
Yeah,
now.
786, yes. Diggy Lou Diggy Lay, Norwegian winners. I think they only sang in English after they won. when they sang the winning song again, because they sometimes do that, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think if you want to do it after, but when you're out there representing, I mean,
So
look,
like Madonna redoes it in tune, they redo it in English.
You know what? In that outfit, Madonna, I think, should have come out to. Why didn't she come out and just dance in a very jolly fashion? Can she dance in a jolly fashion?
No.
I haven't bought into people who said, oh, she needs to retire now after one bad gig. I don't want that to become a generally held
I think
test.
You're
She had
absolutely right
her
there.
designer was present actually at the gig. John Paul Gaultier.
Was it?
Did he design that outfit?
He is
cape and the
responsible
eye patch.
for Madam X.
Is
So
he
the
really?
good news is, Frank, JPG, fan of a cape. Just saying.
Good
But
news.
how did I miss the whole Madam X thing? I watched the show, listened to everything. I just thought it was Madonna in an outfit.
Well, I missed the show, but read about Madonna being Madam X.
What were you searching for when you put in X, Madam X, eh?
Yeah, I was just searching Madam X. It's one of my regular Google searches, actually.
Because she had an X on her eye patch.
Yeah.
Like a big X. And I thought it looked like, you know, when in the Beano, people have a plaster on something. They do it in that X way. And you thought, that needs to be under the eye patch, doesn't it? You fool. You thought my eyes even more sore than usual today. I'll put a plaster. Well, not on the patch, love. I got so confused.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Emily Dean, I don't want you to think Emily Dean is in a massive sulk for this link. She's gone. She had to race across town. Everything's fine. Don't worry.
I'm not sure sulking would be her style either.
No. So we have we're totally male now.
We'll
Which
soldier
is
on.
very, very
Soldier on.
unfashionable. With solder on. We could probably
Yes.
talk about soldering. And welding. We could even talk about welding for the last link if you fancy.
Neither of them my areas of expertise,
I
actually.
know, we should be more male than we are, but nevertheless.
We've had an email from Roger Cook about lemons.
Not Roger Cook, the investigative reporter.
I hope it is Roger Cook, the investigative reporter, but there's no clue that it is. He's just sent a little joke because we were discussing lemons
It's a
earlier.
pity he's not in contact, because remember we had a debate before about
How to get through a door.
how to get through a door, whether you should elbow
Shoulder it.
or foot, or use the foot to kick a door down if you got to get it. Because he was great. He was very good at doorstepping, wasn't
Yes.
he? Roger Cook, that was his
Sort of
speciality.
feels like he invented that doorstepping
I think
documentary
of that as a
thing.
doorstepping pioneer.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway,
Roger
it's
Cook
probably
is,
not him.
It's probably not him, but
I
if
think
it is,
I have an idea
back
he
in
might be
touch.
no longer with
oh,
us.
well, that's awkward.
I think I bet he got into heaven though.
Yes.
Just going to shut
Invited
the
or
door. Oh, why did you let him in,
He's in.
Peter? Well, I couldn't see had his foot in the gates.
He just kept shouting at me about the entry requirements being unfair. Morning all, I might be having lemon grizzle cake later. See how it's like,
Grizzle.
like meaning that he's a moody person.
Oh,
And he's done a little pun on
well,
lemon drizzle cake.
I see.
Strong work,
Very
Roger
nice.
Cook.
Oh,
And we've also had an email during the week. You recently, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, you recently discussed Kinder Eggs.
Kinder Eggs and their illegal status in America, because the law states in America that you cannot sell food stuff with an inedible item in the middle of it.
Well, let me bring to your attention this email from Suzanne. Hi, Frank, Alan and Emily. I'm going to change that. Hi, Frank and Alan.
Yeah.
I'm referring to a previous show when you discussed Kinder Eggs and the American law on the selling of them. One evening, we were having our evening tea, and the conversation, good time, conversation...
No need for repetition of evening.
Oh, the conversation between my 5 and 7-year-olds became about Kinder Eggs, so I started to quote the show about the Kinder Joy and the reason behind it to my husband. As he is a professor of
The
customer...
Kinder Joy, I should say.
Yeah.
If you'll forgive me. Oh, my nose is... the Kinder Joy is...
you forget you're on the radio for a second.
I did, yeah. Now we're men together, I'll figure out and pick my nose.
With your car keys.
The Kinder Joy is a Kinder egg that doesn't have that the uneatable item in it. It has it to one side, so that's legal in England, in America rather.
Well, she told her husband this theory of yours, and she says, as he is a professor of customer behaviour.
Wow.
That's his handle. I thought he would be interested in it. His first response was instantly, what about fortune cookies?
Whoa, straight
I was completely stuck with the response, as it is an item of food and does contain something non-edible. I would love to know your thoughts. Thanks, Suzanne. He's got us there, hasn't he? He's got us.
That's
bang to rights.
Oh, I don't know if he's got us. He's got the American Law Enforcement Agency.
Yeah.
That is a good point.
Maybe they're allowed to be inedible in food if it contains wisdom.
Oh, that's a good one. But imagine, at the post-mortem, cutting into my esophagus and finding a little bit of paper that says you're going to choke if you're not careful. No, if anyone's got the answer to that, we were about to end the show, but we'll be happy to read it out next week. I don't know how they slipped through the net, the fortune.
No, we got around that.
Cookie. I love the idea of the wisdom clause. Thank you so much for listening to us. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out!
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.